Hey Ibrahim and Moat, hope you guys are doing great. My name is ShennJhay. I know you guys are probably super busy, so I'll get straight to the point, right? But just for some context, before going to the proof, who I work with within the past and whatnot, just for what I do is that I work with coaches, creators, educational content creators, entrepreneurs, really get behind your brand and scale up the coaching, e-learning, info product business, right? But just for some proof, I work with SMC Jello back in July 2024 when we first launched his high ticket mentorship through like a webinar. The first week we hit like 40K sort of just from the first launch, right? And then we've also worked with Kino, who we've generated over 300K with him through his trading bot and his consulting sort of business, as well as Lloyd's Ecom. And then we also have Jahim here, which is also a clothing brand entrepreneur running conflicted lowers, right? But just to be super transparent with you guys, the reason why I sort of filmed this video is because I've watched all of your videos, right? I've been following you guys for quite a while, and I like the opportunity to sort of work under your consulting brand, Game Changers, and really scale it up to those 30K, 50K plus months, and eventually those 100K plus months, right? I know you guys are probably busy running, scaling your brand trickle, so I like to sort of take some weight off of you guys' plate running your consulting business, right? In terms of specifically in what ways I'm able to help you guys out, I just filmed an hour and close to 30 minutes sort of recording going over your current funnel for Game Changers, which is your consulting brand. And I've also sort of filmed in terms of how I would improve this funnel if I were you guys based on what is currently working best within the market, right? And then I've also went over sort of how to structure sort of the first launch to really get the momentum sort of up and rolling for this consulting business, right? And really hit that first 20K, 30K high ticket first launch so that we can sort of impact, teach more people and sort of shut down like all of those fake gurus, right? Help people scale and really by consequence of that, also getting compensated really well for it. So initially I was thinking to sort of publish this as like a public YouTube video. So within the actual recording itself, I spoke as though it is for the general YouTube audience, right? But then after thinking through it, I sort of rather send this directly for you guys, right? In terms of what way specifically I would sort of able to help you guys out. So hope you guys can gain value from this recording. Really would appreciate the opportunity if I could get under your brand and really scale your consulting business, right? But yeah, right now let's get straight right into the recording itself. So CEO Ibrahim's 7-figure consulting business, right? So pretty much I'm going to break down his current funnel. Also, after breaking down his current funnel, we're gonna identify different touch points in which we can sort of improve. After that, I'm gonna go through how I would sort of structure his consulting business if I were him, right? So I'm gonna go through the market offer, market positioning, and offer structure. Next would be the different tiers of the offer, for example, the high ticket, the middle ticket, as well as the low ticket, right? Then the market research process, the content strategy and funnel setup, different platform strategy. How do we first launch his high ticket consulting framework, which is hypothesized to be around a 30K to 50K launch with a 14-day launch strategy, right? The sales process and conversion mechanism, which we're going to be covering later. How do we fulfill and keep a high retention rate on those certain offers, as well as how do we actually scale up the offer to those 100K plus months, right? So after that, after going through his 7-figure consulting framework, how I would structure it if I were him, I'm also going to share how will I optimize the funnel if I were him, right? The different top of funnel, on the middle funnel, as well as the bottom of funnel, right? So with that being said, let's start with his current funnel, okay? So currently, as for his top of funnel, as for Ibrahim, because this is where he sort of, try to convert his followers into his WAP Game Changers, which is one of his sort of mentorship, right? While his brother is mostly posting more so his trickle content, right? For example, his brother's YouTube, all the links that he links is mainly just his Instagram, his brand Instagram, as well as his own TikTok account, right? As well as his own clothing brand, right? As well as all of his YouTube videos. I don't see any link that is converting Moat's followers into his sort of consulting group, right? So currently, the only sort of person that is converting their followers into their coaching business is mainly through Ibrahim. So with that being said, I'm going to sort of break down Ibrahim's funnel, right? So top of funnel, he posts a ton of Instagram reels, 10K plus followers. I believe there were some that hit like 200K plus views, 400K plus views, right? So he links his WAP as well as I believe it is his Trickle waiting list, right, on his Instagram channel. So a couple of highlights as well to show the wins and what he can bring to the table, right? As well as he has a ton of 3 different YouTube videos as of currently, right, which links to his WAP game changers. Next, essentially, I'm gonna provide sort of like a high-level overview in terms of what his current funnel look like, so you guys can get sort of like a contextual understanding in terms of where we are coming from, right? So aside from the top of funnel, middle funnel is where he links his WAP private community as well as the wait list to buy Trickle, where people can sign up for that, right? For his YouTube, he also linked his WAP link in his YouTube description, right here, WAP/game changers /, right? As well as, he also has this Telegram channel, which is framed as CEO Ibrahim's newsletter. He doesn't really publicize it a lot. So, I'm not sure how I got into this. I got in since like what? I don't know, like somewhere around November, I believe. So yeah, I've been following him for quite a bit, right? So that is his current middle funnel, which he has WAP link in bio, WAP link in YouTube video description, as well as his Telegram channel. As for the bottom of funnel, how he converts all of his following currently is through his game changers, right? Which he has the low ticket product as well as the high ticket one-on-one mentorship, right? Right now it's currently on wait list, so people that want to buy wouldn't have the opportunity to do so just yet, right? As for his game changer 45 pounds per month, there is 3 options in which you can choose to sort of pay, right? The first option is 45 pounds per month. Second option is 100 pounds for 3 months, as well as the third option is 250 pounds for a whole year straight, right? So that is his overview current funnel look like. So right now, I'm actually going to go through, since I know that, he has this high ticket offer that is on waitlist. If he actually launch it, there's a lot of potential to collect like those multiple 6-figure launch, right? 50K, 100K launch would be possible, right? So in terms of this, I'm going to sort of go through what I would do if I were Ibrahim. So I'm gonna sort of put the Ibrahim hat on. So let's go. First, in terms of how I would launch it, so we have to figure out what is the market currently being fed to and position ourselves differently, and we can position our offer structure differently than what all of our competitors is doing, right? So first, we're going to establish Ibrahim, sorry, that might be a misspelling, Ibrahim and Mowad's unique mechanism. Essentially what makes his coaching business different from all of the other coaching, clothing brand coaches out there. So once we identify this unique mechanism, I just call it the Trickle method because, that is their brand, but essentially name can be something else, right? It doesn't really matter. Or it could be the game changer method. Doesn't really matter, right? Which is, a system for creating, launching, and scaling clothing brand with minimal upfront investment, high profit margins, ideally, 30% plus, and a predictable way to market your clothing brand to ensure virality and signups for your waitlist, right? In terms of the unique mechanism, it is actually truly up to Ibrahim or myself, because I have the Ibrahim hat on. But the name could be different, how they position themselves could be different, but this is just one of the unique mechanisms that I came up with, right? Because their brand, there's a ton. Their brand is really, really viral, right? Their brand is sort of, it picks a stand, right? It's super polarizing. I've seen some of their AI ads, AI voice generated videos from them before. I actually pretty like it, right? As well as, they have a wait list of over 150,000 people, and I'm one of them as well, right? So currently waiting for their drop. Low-key, I low-key want to buy the blank hoodie because it looks pretty sick, right? So I'm gonna buy it as well, right? So he has this viral Trickle brand as well as the wait list, which has a lot of members. So based on those two, it could be one of the unique mechanisms on how they can differentiate themselves from the competition, showing that, hey, my brand has this many followers across all platforms, as well as we have this many followers on our wait list, and no brand has it. We know the secrets. This is how we can differentiate ourselves from the competition, right? So essentially, the main key differentiators could include, hey, we'll give you manufacturing connections to top-tier private suppliers, right? Virality marketing system specifically for clothing brand. And I'm just going to list out the different components that Ibrahim could use to differentiate himself from the competition, right? The different unique approach to create a brand identity that resonates with your target audience, right? The different system for inventory management and, their Facebook ad strategy and fully tested, TikTok guide that is proven to go viral, right? Model from, what they currently have within their low ticket community. So after we have identified the different ways we can stand out from the market, how can we position ourselves different from our competitors? The next step is sort of to structure out our offer, right? So I sort of into the different high ticket offers, middle ticket offers, as well as low ticket offers, right? As for high ticket offers, I sort of price it at a $4,000 price point instead of $1,000 price point. So now here's the controversial part, all right? So I'm gonna sort of, put off my Ibrahim hat and I'm gonna sort of put on the different ShennJhay guru hat. So why is high ticket? I'm gonna be a guru for a little bit, but hang tight, all right? Why is high ticket the best path for coaches who actually care about their mentees, right? Because, a lot of coaches, a lot of creators, right, they default to the different low ticket offers because, they might think that, hey, I don't want to be seen as like a sellout, right? If I charge too much, people won't buy, and I just want to help as many people as possible. And by the end of this, I'm also going to show you different flywheels, right? So hang tight, right? We're going to go through that. So, hey, I just want to help as many people as possible. Therefore, I do not want to charge high ticket, right? I get it, right? You got into the consulting game to provide value, right? Not just to make money. Obviously, money can play a big part of it or a small part of it, doesn't really matter. But the truth is that low ticket is actually limiting the value you can provide, right? And here's why. Low ticket, it means that more people are able to purchase that certain product, which means that the more people buy, the more diluted the solution is, and people are sort of less committed. If they pay 4K, versus if they only pay $100, $100 might not seem a lot to them, therefore they don't take it seriously. All right, but let's be real, right? People who buy, say, a $27 course never really finish it, right? They don't take it seriously because there is no real investment in them, and because you're selling it at such a low price, you're forced to sell thousands upon thousands of people just to make the same amount as a high ticket deal can get you. This means that, hey, if you sell a $27 course, to get to those 100K, you probably need to sell like 1,000 people to get to those 100K. Whereas if you sell like 4K to 5K offers, you only need to sell like 100 people. That is like 1/10 of what the amount you need to sell from the low ticket offers is. 100 people paying 4K to 5K, boom, we're at $100K dollars. Right? So this means that, hey, if you charge it at low ticket, you couldn't really provide individualized attention to each and every student because there's just hundreds upon thousands of people that just joined and only paid $27. Right? It's not worth your time in terms of the money to the effort ratio, right? And if you cannot give personalized attention, you're stuck at a constant state of chasing more customers instead of improving the product, right? And because of that, your students don't really get the real transformation because they aren't committed, first of all, and second of all, they see that, okay, thousands of people have already joined, this information have been given to thousands of people, why should I implement, right? So what this one leads us to is that, hey, would you want to stick with this low ticket flywheel, or would you want to stick with the high ticket? Because truthfully, high ticket customers, they show up, right? They implement and they see results because they have skin in the game, right? So let me just show you a quick example, right? We have one of our clients, which, this is just me putting on my guru hat, so don't mind this social proof. He has this trading bot, his name is Kino. This is just one of the screenshots I took when I was on a call with Kino, right? So he has this trading bot he wanted to sell, right? So he has it at like a $16 price point and multiple different offers at different price points, right? And within like 3 months, we scaled it up to those 300K plus off of selling like a trading bot, right? So with that, you can see how many people bought the trading bot just for us to collect that 300K. Versus his high ticket product, which is over here. To get to those 8K, there's only 3 people that bought. And this is from payment plans, by the way, right? To get to those $1,300, 2 people bought to get to those, right? And there's a couple more down here, right? 2 people bought to get to those 1,900. 2 people bought to those 1,500, right? And totally, there's only like 10 person to only collect like what, 30K per month. Whereas this one, 300K per month, we need like what, total 270 members to get to those 300K a month, right? This is like 10 times more the people that join to get, like 100 times more the people to join to get to those 300K. Right? So that one just goes to show that how much effort, like the effort to reward ratio for high ticket offers is sort of, the ratio doesn't really compare, right? So high ticket, I believe, is the way to go, right? So and another example, just for some quick little story, right? Because back in 2022, when I first moved to the States, I was like, okay, internet business is the way to go, right? So 1 year in, got a little bit of results, but wanted to speed up the process. So in September 29, 2023, I sort of invested in the different coaching programs, right? It cost me like 1,500. I split up the payments in 2 days. Actually, the total cost is 6K. I just split it up into 4 months, 4 installments, right? And you best believe that, hey, after I invested this 1.5K, dude, I'm doing some fucking outreach, right? I'm doing outreach. I'm doing all of the stuff to get my money back, to pay for the next month, right? And my mom was pretty funny, right? My mom was like, hey son, I'm curious about what was the $1,500 usage about. I was like, oh, it's just my mentorship. And she was like, Capital Club? Because I was talking about joining Capital Club a little bit, right? So she thought it was Capital Club. And I was like, nope. and she was like, son, dinner is chicken pie. You can bake it at 5 p.m. She didn't really give a shit, right? But you best believe after that 1.5K, I'm in my hustling mode, right? So high ticket offer, why does it sort of attract the right audience, right? People who debate whether to buy milk or to buy cereals are the same ones who will ask for a refund. And guys, this is just like a metaphor, right? If your audience is debating whether to invest that $50 or $100, it's the same concept as, oh, should I buy milk first or should I buy cereal first so that next week I can buy the other option, right? Those are, low ticket buyers, right? They're the ones that, typically ask for a refund. They complain about, there's not enough value being provided in a $27 course, and then they ghost you when it's time to take action, which then rounds back to, hey, I didn't take action, I didn't get results, now I can blame it on the course that I bought. No, right? You have to take the action, right? On the other hand, if you get high ticket clients, they are already successful, or they are highly committed because they pay such a high price, right? They value their time, they value who they are as a person, their value, and they value their time more than they value money, right? So they're willing to pay to speed up the process, to get the clarity and certainty in terms of what are the next steps that they need to take to move forward to scale to that certain goal that they have, right? These are the people who actually gets the results and praise you, and who will praise you for your program, right? How much they have already changed your life, right? So high ticket offers, it mainly gives you the freedom to do your best work, right? So with low ticket offers, it's sort of like you're in a hamster wheel, launching the courses, selling the courses, dealing with different customer support, refund rate, people want refunds. It's sort of not a good cycle to be in, right? So I'm going to run through the 7-figure education flywheel, which once I learned this, it completely changed how I view high ticket offers as well as middle ticket offers, including the low ticket offers, right? So hopefully it can provide the same value to you guys as well. So let's go through it. seven-figure education flywheel, right? So with high ticket pricing, with those 3K to 10K plus, it provides us to have sort of the healthy margins, right? The 3K to 10K pricing provides enough cash flow for us to reinvest back into the program, whether it is going to be hire out coaches. And most of the time when you hire out coaches, it could be people from your previous mentorship that join, right? Your most successful student, they could be a coach as well, right? The different resources with 3 to 10K, we can be reinvested back into putting out resources, templates to give out to future students that join as well, or current students. And it leaves us with enough margin to build up different systems so that people can win even more, right? With the different coaches in place, with the different resources, with the different system, it builds us a better support system, right? And with better support system, it would lead to improved student results, because with better resources, your student can achieve greater success because of all of the support that is in place, that is backing up them so that they can achieve their goal that they want, right? This creates a higher success rate and a stronger case studies. Okay, now with higher success rate and stronger case studies, it leads us to have a stronger branding for ourselves. With that stronger brand, it amplifies the brand's reputation, allowing for more organic referrals and people's trust in the program, which leads to higher demand for the program. And with higher demand for the program, you have a lot of results to show for. You have a ton of testimonials to show for. You can only attract more high quality clients because of the results, because of the social proof, and they're willing to pay premium prices. So you're even scalable. Your ability to scale through leverage would be super high, right? With the right systems running smoothly, the coaches in place, the systems in place, the SOPs in place. The coach, the creator can focus on growing the business, not running the day-to-day operations, right? Whereas, the low ticket flywheel, actually before that, all this flywheel, the high ticket, the healthy margins, the better support system, stronger branding, which leads to higher demand. Higher demand leads to scalable through leverage. All of these leads to what? The student gets life-changing results, which leads to, hey, we as ourselves, as a consulting business, we get more stronger case studies and testimonials, right? When we get more stronger testimonials and case studies, it leads us to have stronger program reputation. We stand out from our competition. And once we stand out from the competition, we can scale it up through leverage because we already have a moat compared to other consulting business that exists out there. Right, and once we have a moat, we scale it up. The creator, the coach enjoys both time and more of the financial freedom that comes from this consulting business, right? Whereas, my mentor used to say, hey, low ticket model is just like a doom loop. So I'm just gonna go through what the doom loop is. So with low ticket, low price, you get sort of the low margins, right? Which means maybe limited cash flow or no budget to hire additional help to help improve the program, right? What this one leads to, if you have limited cash flow, you cannot hire people, is that you are essentially the bottleneck because you're going to be work overloaded. The creator becomes the bottleneck, doing everything themselves, from coaching the students, giving advice, the different admin work, the different fulfillment. The creator becomes the bottleneck because they're doing everything themselves, right? And when the creator have their own brand to take care of, have their own business, have their main business, plus they have their side consulting business, which takes up a lot of time, it leads to sort of the inconsistent student results, right? Because overwhelmed creators or coaches, they sort of cannot provide personal support, right? Which leads to lower success rates. Now with lower success rate, it leads to like a poor branding, poor testimonial, which leads to higher refund rates and burnout, right? Because if we have like dissatisfied students, it leads to fewer success stories, which weakens the brand authority that we have, right? And as frustration grows, clients leave unsatisfied or demanding refunds, leading to the burnout of the creator, which leads to, hey, a race to the bottom. How can I lower my prices, right? This is where you see people like within the consulting space, they were like, hey, I guarantee you XXX, or you don't pay, plus we'll give you a refund, right? This is the low ticket model, which leads to that point. And if we are forced to race to the bottom, the creator feels forced to compete on price, attracting lesser serious students who aren't really invested in their success, but are just invested in, hey, how can I pay the least to get the same amount of value, right? All of this, the doom, the doom loop, which leads to what? The outcome of this is that, hey, both sides struggle to grow, minimal results for the students and the creator as well, because there is no time for the coach, for the creator to, improve the program, right? Because there's just too many students, right? So it is not about, just like charging more, but it is more so about the idea that, hey, to give our students, to give our clients a better experience for both the creator, the coach, and the mentees, high ticket, it provides us with, more margins to give them more resources they need to scale, and we can serve more people in return, right? So if you want to help as many people as possible, high ticket, is the right way to do that, right? Because more revenue means that you can hire a team, you can improve your program, you can reinvest in your coaching business, in your brand, so that you can make sure that with future or current clients, all of them will get results, right? So you can still give back through free content, which is giving them free value, taking your audience to where they are right now, so that they are qualified enough to want to work with you. So for example, we do not want to sell to, let's say, beginners, right? With beginners, we can put out free content to give them free value, so that as in throughout time, as they grow with you, based on how many information that they have consumed through you, they are already qualified enough to want to work with you. So you are not really burning yourself out in terms of wanting to help beginners, which means that you can help more people for years to come, because only those qualified people that have the money, have their own clothing brand, wanting to scale to those 7-8 figures, are there for your help, right? And when people are of those caliber, they're more so serious than beginners, right? So at the end of the day, low ticket is sort of serves your ego, right? You can see how many people buy, the revenue generated, but if you truly want to, help people, high ticket, it serves your audience, right? Because here's the thing, right? What is more of a sellout move, right? Selling a cheap, watered down course that many people have bought, which is diluted because, a lot of people have bought. Information is scattered. So the information is not that valuable because a lot of people already have it. It's like a Toyota versus Bugatti. Toyota, a lot of people have, it is like quite common. Whereas Bugatti, only 100 people have it around the world, maybe. So that, it is valuable, right? So, building a premium experiences that actually change life, high ticket allows you to do that, right? So if you really care about impact, I truly believe that high ticket is the way. Not for the money purposes, not for the monetary purposes, but it's just that, hey, it's like the doom loop cycle versus the 7-figure education cycle, right? This one, both sides win. Whereas this side is like, it's hard to get both sides to sort of win, right? So, guru hat off. Now we're gonna put on CeoIbrahim's hat again, right? So what I would do to scale up his coaching education business. So let's continue with his high ticket offer, right? So with high ticket offer, I sort of price it at a 4K price point. I just name it, hey, the Game Changers Elite One-on-One Mentorship, right? Which the timeline is 90 days. As for the deliverables, I would say it's totally up to Ibrahim in terms of what he can offer, because he's quite busy because he has to run his own Trico brand. But what I suggest is, hey, 2 times one-on-one video calls with Ibrahim, which is 6 calls in total in 90 days, right? That one-on-one calls could be 30 minutes to 15 to 30 minutes, right? This is just essentially what I would do if I were him, right? So priority access, when people pay that high ticket, they also get priority access to Trico's exclusive supply network with direct introductions, right? As well as the custom clothing brand roadmap and launch strategy. How do we the complete marketing system, whether it is organic or paid, right? So essentially it's like an expanded Facebook and TikTok ads framework with campaign templates, right? As well as the content calendar and posting strategy, as well as the virality strategy, right? So by the end of it, you're gonna see, hey, how do we actually structure the high ticket offers, the middle ticket offers, the different deliverables of the middle ticket offers, as well as the low ticket offers. So it's more so like an ecosystem of offers that people that want to work with us, Ibrahim and Moad, can join, right, based on their current situation. So let's continue. Fulfillment, in terms of the high ticket, fulfillment and operation system setup, give them the guide, right? Year-long access to the private community, 7-figure emails and waitlist strategy, because Trico has over like 150k waitlist members, so they definitely have the secret there, right? As well as, you know, the last thing is maybe advanced mockup bundles with customization options, right? So that would be the high ticket for the Game Changer Elite one-on-one mentorship. All right, and guys, if you guys are wondering, after I go through those different high ticket, middle ticket, and low ticket offers, I'm also going to go through, hey, how can we validate it so that our audience is willing to pay for it, right? So we're gonna go through it in the next step. So let's continue. As for middle ticket offers, I sort of price it at $1,000, $997, which also lasts for 90 days. Right, so here's sort of the concept, right? Because the other day I was actually going into an ice cream store, and with that ice cream store, with 1 scoop, they offer like 3 different options: 1 scoop ice cream, 2 scoop ice cream, as well as 3 scoop ice cream. With the 1 scoop, I believe they placed it at like $5 or like $4. I think it was like $4. Then for 2 scoops, they placed it at like $4.75, whereas for the 3 scoop there is only $5. So what this middle ticket offer that ice cream store has is that this is just like a bait offer, where, hey, this is just, you know, I want you to spend that $5 so that I can give you 3 scoop, but I also increase the average order value by $1, right? Times 1,000 customers, that could be 1,000 more for the ice cream shop, right? So this middle ticket offer is just sort of act like a bait for people to join the high ticket offer so that we can increase the sort of average order value, right? So you know, the same concept applies with the middle ticket offer that I sort of designed, right? So with this middle ticket offer, they would get like 1 times 1 hour strategy call with Ibrahim, as well as 6 group coaching calls, which happens twice per month, or if Ibrahim wants, maybe once per week, right? So 4 times per month. They also get the access to supplier directory without introductions, right? Without the direct introductions, the standard marketing templates, Facebook ads, TikTok ads framework, the different content strategy that they use, virality, how to go viral, their basic fulfillment guides, as well as they also get 6-month community access to their private community, right? Following up with the 7-figure emails, as well as waitlist strategy guide, right? And you know, some limited mock-up selections that we can provide to those middle ticket buyers, right? And again, this is more so like a bait offer for people to go for either the high ticket or just the 1 scoop, right? So with low ticket offers, I sort of price it at a $97 per month, you know, named it Game Changer Winners, which lasts for 90 days, right? And the reason why is because, you know, when I was designing this whole offer, which took me quite a bit, like took me a couple of days, right? I actually read one of Hormozi's email like right away, right that day when I was designing this entire Lucy chart, right? And Hormozi pretty much said that, hey, $97 beats a $47 front-end offer, right? So I'm just gonna read through this email, right? So hang tight. Words I like: if you want premium customers, stop selling cheap stuff. Mozi Minute, $97 beats a $47. Most people think that charging something versus giving something away for free brings in a higher quality customer. And that's true. But you can actually take it a step further by testing out the low ticket prices. We just got fascinating data from a split test for one of our portfolio companies that made us a lot of money, right? So here's what they test. 2 identical sales funnel, only different is the low ticket price. Group A charged $49, Group B charged $97. LTV changes over time of the 2 group shocked them, right? LTV by day 0, you know, obviously is 51 because, you know, 97 minus 49 is 52, so around that range. By day 30, there's a $212 difference. Day 120, this much of a difference, and by the 6th month is a $891 difference, right? So the translation is that, hey, the $97 buyers spend nearly $900 more per person over 180 days than the $47. And here's the kicker. Customer acquisition cost was nearly identical within the 15%. Right, so the hidden goal is that, hey, front-end offer doesn't just make, help us make more money upfront, but they position the product, better in our customers' mind to get the same customers to be willing to pay more, and we attract better buyers, right? So we're talking about a 41% higher lifetime value at a 180 days just from one change, which is an increase of $52. Right, so Hormozi's takeaway, which I find super interesting, is that, hey, our front end price is not just like a revenue decision, I want to make more money, but it is more so positioned as a way that, hey, we want to attract a higher quality customer, right? So yeah, pretty cool insight that I got from Hormozi, right? In terms of what the deliverables would be for that $97 per month low ticket community, is that, hey, they get maybe 2 times monthly Q&A, group Q&A with Ibrahim as well as 3 co-founders, or they can also get, access to top tier private suppliers. And by the way, this is just, retained from what they already have based on their current low ticket offers, right? So next thing would be, hey, community access with brand owners, maintain access to mockup library with 100 plus, maybe 200 plus designs, which is retained, as well as maybe Ibrahim could add a monthly trend. See, okay, this video is going viral. People in my consulting group, please continue to produce this type of content because it is proven to go viral, right? So boom, there we have it. The high ticket offers, the middle ticket offers, as well as the low ticket offers, including their deliverables. Now, the next one is that, okay, now that we have the different offers, how can we prove that people actually want to invest based on this certain price point, right? So this is where our market research process comes into place. And I'm going to share with you the entire strategy, super transparent. I held nothing back. All right, so let's get into it. So before finalizing the offer, we need to sort of, validate it with Ibrahim's audience, or essentially my audience, because I have Ibrahim's hat on. This is what I would do if I were Ibrahim, right? So here's more sort of process in terms of how can we validate the offer. First, we're gonna create like a U-form survey with these key questions. And by the way, if you guys are curious, U-form is just like a better alternative than Typeform, right? The pricing makes the most sense. It looks the same. It looks identical. So, I support U-form a lot, right? This is not with any paid endorsement. I do not get paid to shoot this one up, but I just love the product, right? So create a U-form survey to ask them basically questions about, hey, their name, their phone, their email, what is their current situation with their clothing brand, what is their #1 challenge with their clothing brand right now, how much money do you currently invest in growing your brand, what is your background, why do you want to start your clothing brand, different offers, right? Like, what is your ultimate goal, what have you tried in the past that did not work, right? What made you join a clothing brand mentorship in the past, right? What specific results would make you consider this mentorship a success? And most importantly, what is one big question that you have that you like for Ibrahim or me to answer, right? So once we put all of these questions into a type form, you want to post it up on Discord, Instagram story, Telegram group, and his Game Changers email list, right? The whole goal with this is that we want to sort of get responses flooded in so that we can see, okay, based on our audience, they're currently at this point. Most of the common challenges that they face is this thing, and their common goal is to get to 7 figures or 8 figures. Now that we know that, we know our customers' psychographics as well as some of their demographics, right? So how would we incentivize people to want to fill up this form, right? So a good incentive is that we want to essentially tell our audience, hey, guys, I'm launching this super big program that would help a lot of you guys out. But essentially, before I launch it, I want some of you guys' feedback, right? So here's the thing. The more detailed your answers to these questions are, the higher the chance you'll get the opportunity to speak with me one-on-one through the phone. I will call you up and I'll personally give you the advice based on your current situation, right? Because on the form, we ask for the phone, their email, and their name. and we essentially have their phone number, right? So we can essentially call them up. So after we get the responses flooded in, we can identify their common pain points and the common desired outcomes, right? If, hey, maybe we can adjust the price points if necessary, or refine the deliverables based on what people actually want from us, right? So by the end of it, maybe Ibrahim can pick one lucky winner or even more to hop on the phone and call them, give them advice, talk for a little bit, right? And hey, after hopping on the phone with them, maybe Ibrahim could film the entire process, with his camera, film the entire process. That could be a content asset that could be posted on YouTube, right? Or after giving them free value, we could, essentially maybe ask for a testimonial video, right? Just maybe, right? So that would be the market research process, which we validate our audience, what they want, where they want to go, their common pain points, as well as the price points and different deliverables that we can include with our different high ticket offers, middle ticket offers, as well as low ticket offers. Now, which leads us to the next point. We already have this offer. How do we effectively scale this offer up? Is through the different, content strategy and the different funnel setup, right? So now, since Mawad covers the behind the scenes content, right? I'm not sure if I attach any pictures here, but let me just scroll up, right? Where is it? Yeah. Since Mawad's, YouTube, he covers a lot of, the behind the scenes during the launch. When he actually drops his clothing brand, he has never actually missed a day, right? Which, I respect a lot, right? So since, Mawad shared a lot of behind the scenes content, my idea, if I were Ibrahim, what I would do is that, hey, since my brother already shared the different behind the scenes content, I, as the brother, as Ibrahim, could position my channel as sort of the business strategy and or the lifestyle channel, right? Which is focus on these three parts. 40% could be focused on maybe clothing brand strategy, another 40% focus on lifestyle, plus the other 20% could be focused on results and case study interviews, which is more so like what Samuel Onuha is doing with his Millionaire Commerce channel, right? But let's start from the top. Okay, so after we go through the different content strategy, I'm also going to go through the different platform strategy, which leads us to, after that, the 14-day launch strategy, which is super exciting. I'm going to go through that later. You guys will find it super valuable, right? So as for the 40% clothing brand strategy that Ibrahim could post, maybe leverage the different case studies he has of successful clothing brands. Maybe he could break down, hey, this clothing brand used this strategy. I copied it to launch our own Chico strategy, and this was the result, right? Giving them free value, provide specific strategies, right? What this one looks like is more so something like this, right? We know that where our audience is currently at. Based on the survey, we also know where they want to be. What we want to do with our content is mainly just, aside from the lifestyle, flex a little bit, we can know that, okay, there's a gap between where they are now and where they want to be, right? There's a gap. So within that gap, there is mainly like, different deliverables, different lessons they need to learn in order to go from where they are now to where they want to be. So knowing that there is different core deliverables that they need to learn, within each core deliverables, there's different subsegments that they have to learn in order to get there, right? So maybe content could just be like, share the different specific segments that they need to learn within the main topic, right? So that could be a, content strategy when we are breaking down different clothing brand content strategy, which is 40% of the videos, right? As for lifestyle content, hey, maybe Ibrahim currently posts 3 videos. Most of it is also lifestyle, so we can stick to that, right? Day in the life, vlog style, general clothing brand tips. When maybe he's walking down the street, his videographer video him, asking him questions, and just him casually giving out clothing brand tips, clothing brand strategies, right? As well as different storytelling, right? Identify the main hero, where they want to go, his endpoint. If you do not reach, if the main hero doesn't reach the endpoint, what would be the consequence? And mainly, once the audience know the consequence, their endpoint, the road essentially becomes the story, right? The journey essentially becomes the story, right? So the different platform strategy before we go into the 14-day launch is that, hey, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Those are the two main platforms that we are going to be focused on, right? For YouTube, maybe 1 to 2 long form videos per week, right? More if possible, but we want to maintain the quality and the branding and the vibe of it all, right? As for Instagram, maybe 3 to 5 reels per week, or ideally every single day, right? Without compromising the quality, right? But what we would sort of make different is that the call to action for the content for his Instagram, right? Maybe this was just one of the idea that I have in mind, right? Where, like his reels right now is more so like he just played the reels, giving some value, maybe, a little bit flexing, but then the reels just end at the end, right? What maybe we could add is that, hey, after the reel end, add another like maybe 2 to 3 seconds of like black screen, where after the video ends, it fades into the black screen, and on that black screen, it says something like this: comment the word, a certain keyword, could be Trico, comment Trico to get access to my free Telegram group where I'll be sharing strategies to help you scale your clothing brand and the behind the scenes content of running Trico. Right, so they will see a lot of people commenting Trico, and our automation could kick off using ManyChat to invite them to our Telegram channel, right? So that is one of the strategy for platform strategy between YouTube as well as Instagram, right? So here is where it gets interesting, which is the 14-day launch strategy for Game Changers high ticket consulting, which is hypothesized to hit those 50K, maybe even more first time launch, right? Based on how engaged Ibrahim's audience has and the social proof that he has from Trico. Okay, so with this 14-day launch, it is more so like a series of content, series of steps that we go through on different days, so that by the end of it, when we launch that webinar, and I'm just going to break it, this one would be a webinar launch. We will launch this high ticket through a webinar. By the end of the webinar launch, which is 14-day, 17 days including the post-webinar conversion, we could essentially hit that the first launch, which is 50K plus, right? So let's go through it step by step, day 1 or day 2, right? So day 1 and day 2 essentially would be the announcement and build up stage, where our daily action would be, hey, we're gonna release an announcement video across all platforms, right? Not essentially YouTube, but YouTube community, right? The community posts, Instagram stories, his Telegram group, as well as his paid Discord, right? And the messaging could be something like this on day 1 and day 2. Hey guys, after months of preparation, I'm hosting a free special training revealing how we built Trico. Me and Moat built Trico from zero to currently sitting at XXX 7 figures, multiple 6 figures per month, right? And the call to action of this post would be, hey, save your spot for the exclusive webinar, which is limited to only 1,000 attendees, right? So this one gives us a little bit of scarcity and urgency for people to sign up, right? Because it is free and it is essentially a secret special training revealing how they grow Trico to 150K, multiple 7-figure brand, as well as multiple a lot of like followers within XXX months, and they were starting from essentially close to zero, right? So have his team set up the different webinars and registration page and prepare the email and SMS sequence. So hey, by the way, if I were to work with Ibrahim, I would be essentially setting all of this up, and I'll basically handle everything, get behind his brand, work under him, and scale this consulting business up under him, right? But that aside, day 1 and day 2 would be the announcement and build up stage, right? As for day 3 to day 5, this is where we establish more of our authority, which is, the daily action from day 3 to day 5. Maybe we could release one strategic pieces of content to mainly provide value, right? Some of the content idea I have is that, hey, maybe, Ibrahim could put out content that says something like, hey, the 3 biggest mistakes killing most clothing brand and how you can avoid it, right? Or the next content idea could be the Trico method on our framework on marketing, virality, and our waitlist strategy, right? For the Instagram stories, we could put up a story that counts down to the webinar on the 14th day, which is when the webinar would go live, which we will cover in a little bit, and you guys will see the different strategies we use, which you'll find pretty interesting. Aside from the Instagram stories, we post multiple different previous testimonials and case studies from students we have helped from the current low ticket offers, right? For the email sequence, we want to sort of send pre-webinar value emails to registrants to essentially pre-market them and give them value, right? This one would be only for people who have already registered for the webinar, right? Give them free value and incentivize them. Be like, hey, thank you for registering early. Because you register early, I want to give you this free stuff, and then we just give it to them, and we make sure that it is valuable, right? As for the call to action for his Instagram stories as well as content, maybe he would post on his YouTube. For YouTube, the description could be, hey, I'm hosting a free live training on XXX date, the 14th date, to attend live. I gapped it at 1,000 members. So if you guys want to sign up, click the link in the description, right? That is for YouTube. As for, maybe for Instagram, we could post a link. When we post this story, we could also post a link to register for the event, right? So with this, we would drive a lot of signups for people to attend the webinar, right? As for day 6 and day 7, this is where we put out the different social proof content. So daily action, hey, release one strategic piece of content, and the content idea could be, hey, how we turn XXX amount into a 7-figure, close to 8-figure clothing brand business trickle, right? As for Instagram idea, what to post on Instagram, what to post on Telegram, what to post on our email, which leads to the 14th day, make it as successful as it could be. The Instagram story idea could be like, hey, tell your Instagram audience who haven't joined the Telegram groups, basically say something like this. Later in my Telegram, I'm hosting a free group called a free live channel where I'll be answering all of your questions later. So you guys that join the Telegram, bring all of your clothing brand questions. I will be answering them all for free, right? What this one allows us to do is that we funnel people from top of funnel, from Instagram, all the way to our Telegram channel, which is our middle funnel, which is where people get nurtured, and we build a more so closer relationship with our audience, right? So on the Telegram, we host a free live stream later, Q&A to answer questions about the upcoming webinar, provide free value, and having people who maybe haven't signed up, sign up for the webinar, right? As for the emails that we would post on day 6 and day 7, would always be value providing emails, essentially tips on clothing brand. And within those emails, we also pre-market them, remind them to show up on the 14th day, which is when the webinar is going to be taking place, right? So after the social proof content on day 6 and day 7, day 8 through day 10 is purely just going to be, problem solution framework, right? There's a misspelling, but don't mind that. As for daily action, we want to release one strategic piece of content, ideally per day if possible, right? So I just list out 3 different content ideas that Ibrahim could take maybe ideas from, right? The first content idea is the hidden costs of starting and scaling a clothing brand. And by the way, this one might seem a little bit boring, but hang tight, right? Because all of these steps will lead to a successful launch on the 14th day, right? So hang tight. Different content idea, hey, the hidden costs of starting and scaling a clothing brand and how to minimize them, right? Next content idea, hey, how can you get a premium quality supplier? Maybe, suppliers that have worked with those big clothing brands like Zara, maybe like Uniqlo or different brands, right? Or the third content idea could be, hey, we're gonna advertise the trickle method. How do we, as a clothing brand, build a loyal customer base from the ground up? I feel like that would be sick. You know what I mean? As for Instagram stories, again, we want to share the behind the scenes of Ibrahim mentoring his clients and provide the value, right? Remember the audience research form from above where we call up the students. Maybe Ibrahim have that recorded and he could post it, like he could post the time where the punchline is delivered from Ibrahim. The moment where the value is so much condensed within that 5 to 10 seconds, maybe Ibrahim could post it on his Instagram stories, right? And the caption could be like, this is the amount of value I provide for people within our Telegram. So if you're not in the Telegram, please sign up and go into our Telegram, right? So that could be, the Instagram stories where we share the behind the scenes value providing moment from Ibrahim, right? As for the email, for people that have already signed up for the webinar, we send the usual value providing email. Value comes first, 80% would be value and 20% would be the reminder, right? Because the thing is that there's something called, reciprocity, right? If our whole goal is not for 80% to remind them, but instead 80% to give them free value, they would automatically, they would be like, wow, I love this guy. I want to give back to this guy. So I'm going to show up because that is the least I could do based on how much value Ibrahim has provided me, right? So value providing emails, educational, to our main goal is to pre-market them and give them free value, as well as send, hey, what to expect on the webinar, the different behind the scenes content as well. Okay, for Telegram, we want to sort of send a summarized version of the value emails on Telegram. So essentially, value emails 80%, we want to sort of summarize it. And then after we summarize it, we send the summarized version on our Telegram group. And we could essentially say something like this: hey guys, to see the full version, because with this summarized group, with this summarized message, we also want to make sure that it is also valuable, right? So that we can send it to his Telegram group. And once we send it in, people will see like, wow, even the summarized version is already that valuable. Imagine what the full version of it would look like. So we could essentially market them by saying something like this: hey guys, to see the full version so that you don't miss out on any free value, sign up for the webinar or sign up for the newsletter, right? Another incentive for people to essentially, join the webinar or join the newsletter, right? As for Instagram stories, could be like, hey, we could post up, hey, ask me a question, story poll, okay? Where basically his audience can ask him questions, okay? 6. So as for day 11 and day 12, which is around 1 to 2 days before the actual webinar happening, day 11 to day 12 is where we build our urgency, right? So our daily action is to share the timer countdown content. And the content idea could be like, hey, release detailed FAQ addressing common objections, because on day 10 to day 8 to day 10, we put up different Instagram stories and we put up a question poll, right? Once we get different questions coming in from our audience, we could, record a video essentially breaking down, okay, these were the common questions. Let me film a video answering your common questions, right? As for Instagram stories, we want to post, hey, 3 days left until the trading that changed everything for us and help out our students. So sign up here. So this would be the sign up for the webinar, and essentially like a last push for people to sign up for the webinar, right? Another Instagram stories could be like, hey, I'm hosting another free group call, just like I did on day 6 through day 7. Just like that day, I'm going to be, hosting another free group call, answering all of you guys' questions on Telegram, right? And then we want to post the Telegram group link, which people can click and they can join, right? As for Telegram, we host a second Q&A session where we provide free value, give them the free sauce, and essentially reminding them to sign up for the webinar and join the webinar when it goes live. Okay. As for email, for people that have already signed up for the webinar, we want to send usual value providing emails, as well as reminding them about the upcoming webinar that is going to be taking place, right? If possible, share success stories, share different testimonials, case studies of students that he have helped in the past, right? So that'll be sick. So on day 13, which is 1 day before the webinar, for our emails, people that have already signed up for the webinar, we want to send the usual value providing emails and 24-hour reminders on SMS, as well as on our emails, right? So for SMS, people that have already registered, we want to send reminders with special incentives for live attendance. Maybe we could say that, hey, I'm giving away $300 for people that join the webinar live. $300 for random people that engage with the webinar. This one, we just, incentivize people, hey, if they want to win $300, join live, right? And then stuff to post on Telegram could be the countdown timer on the 14th day which is when the webinar is taking place, right? So team task, final check-in on the different webinar system, make sure it runs smoothly, sales team preparation, make sure that they are ready to take calls, and get post-webinar sequence ready, right? So boom. On day 14, this is where our essentially what we call it the money day, right? So on webinar day, pre-webinar, we essentially send 3 reminder notifications so that we can allow people to know that, remind people that, hey, webinar is happening, please show up. Okay, so 4 hours before, send them an email. 1 hour before, send them another reminder, and 15 minutes before, send them another reminder, right? As for live webinar structure, would be around the 30 to 45 minutes, right? Which breaks down to this structure. 5 minutes, the first 5 minutes, we want to bring the energy, set the energy of the room right there, right? So essentially, the hook and the story from the start of the 5 minute could share Ibrahim's and Moad's story and journey with Trico, right? The different founders that there is in place from where they are before to where they are right now, right? Show the journey. Then the next 15 minutes could be the core training on the Trico method. This is where we provide pure value. 15 minutes. So total would be 20 minutes at this point. 20 to 30 minute point, we want to share the case studies breakdown of our most successful past students, right? So 30 minutes at this point. From the 30 minute to 14 minute mark, this is where we introduce the game changers mentorship, right? So 40 to 45 minute mark, this is where we ask our audience to call to action and next steps, which is what? Book a strategy session with Ibrahim's team. So Ibrahim's team would be the sales team, where closers, salespeople will take call and enroll people into his high ticket offer if people actually are qualified and want to actually join, right? So post webinar, after that webinar takes place, after a tons of calls being booked into the sales team calendar, post-webinar, what we want to do is to send an immediate follow-up email with the booking link for attendees. Let's say attendees that actually show up for the call. We will know that because on Webinar Gem, which is the platform where one of the best webinar hosting platform, they can track that, okay, this email actually show up, this email did not. So for people that actually show up, we send them an email and make them book in a call. Right. So as for the team, get the sales team ready to take calls and enroll new students into the coaching program. Right. As for people who did not actually show up to the call, we want to send them the next steps, which is, hey, you missed it, but there is still time to watch the recording. Right. We want to include limited replay access so that people actually value this webinar, and they would be like, okay, Ibrahim is going to be taking this recording down, so I better go watch it. Right, so for attendees, what we want to send, hey, here are your next steps with booking link plus testimonial, so that we can persuade people to booking a call to speak with the team. Right, for people that no show, again, we want to send limited replay access. Right, as for sales team, at this point they are actively taking calls and following up with leads, right, enrolling people into the program. As for the final push, which is on day 15, a day after the webinar through day 17, you want to advertise, hey, limited spots still remaining, to essentially send that message across all of the different platforms, basically saying, hey, limited spots remaining. After that, I'm gonna close it, and it would be closed for XXX amount of months. So if you guys want to join, this is your last chance until we reopen it. Something like that. That could be the messaging, right? So boom, there we have it. Yeah, it took me a while, so glad that you guys stick through. This one would be the 14-day launch strategy for Game Changers High Ticket Consulting, which is the webinar to call funnel. Okay. 6. So at this point, closers on salespeople, closers on Ibrahim's team are currently actively taking calls after the 14-day launch. So how can we optimize the sales process and the conversion, which is happening after the webinar, right? I pretty much present 2 different options, right? With these 2 different options, we can increase sort of the average conversion rate from people that show up to the webinar to people that actually close and enrolled into his high ticket mentorship, right? So option 1 would be the application page plus calendar, and option 2 would be the direct to calendar only if volume is low. So I'm gonna go through that in a little bit, so hang tight, right? So option 1, application page plus calendar page. What I mean by this is that on the webinar, when Ibrahim drops the link for people to sign up and, schedule in a call and speak with the team, one of the page that we want to send, what the page that Ibrahim wants to send would be the opt-in page, where it looks something like this. Opt-in page, we call it who is for, the main headline, and then maybe a little video explaining what this call would be, as well as the type form or U form, right? Questions. So application page here, different high converting applications with 5 to 7 qualifying questions, which happens here, right? Questions focus on their current situation, their goals, and their readiness to invest, right? What this one allows us to do is that this pre-qualifies the leads and increases the show rate and close rate, right, as well for people that booked in, right? So after this questionnaire, if they actually do qualify, based on the questions that we ask, we know that, okay, based on these answers that this guy give, this guy is more of a not so beginner, but in the game for a bit. They have the money, they want to invest, they want to work closely with Ibrahim, or essentially me, right? So they already know it. What this one allows us to do is that, okay, based on their question, if they do qualify, we redirect them to the calendar page redirection, right? Where if application shows that they are qualified, we redirect them to the booking page. If they are not qualified, we redirect them to the low ticket offer, right? Because we don't want to sort of waste time, right? So I'm gonna go through why. So why we want to send people who are not qualified to the low ticket offers and people who are qualified to direct booking is because it more so filters out time wasters and unqualified leads, right? Because it saves us time, it saves the team's time, and it saves Ibrahim's time as well, right? This creates a psychological commitment completing the application, and which increases show rate, right? Because if people commit to answer those 5 to 7 questions prior to investing anything, they already have that little commitment, right? So once they have the little commitment, they book a call, the show rate would increase quite a ton, right? Because there is already pre-commitment being done on their behalf, right? This positions the call as something they need to qualify for and not something available for everyone. So that people that qualify and book a call, we make them seem as though they are actually important, right? It's not for everyone, only for people who actually qualify. Or day 2, or option 2, I guess, if we're not booking in a lot of sales calls for the closers to take, right, what we can do is that we just send them directly to the calendar booking page. Because on option 1, what this application page allows us to do is just that this is more so like a filtering page where we want to filter out unqualified leads and qualified leads, right? But on option 2, in that case, if there is somehow fewer than 500 attendees, maybe we just want to send them directly to the booking page, right? We do not want to filter it out. We want to speak with as many people as possible. And that is what we're sort of optimizing for, right? So now, this is one super important fact, right? Because if people booked in a call, but they don't show up, the salespeople cannot actually close that certain, client and enroll them into our program. He cannot close our audience and enroll them in our program, which will help him a ton, right? So this is what the pre-call nurturing process has in place. This is basically what it solves, right? It makes sure that people actually show up for the actual sort of, enrollment call itself or the sales call, right? So immediately after they booked in a call, we want to send, using automation, we send an educational content immediately after the application, right? As for the reminders on SMS and email, we send a confirmation of appointment to them, right? As well as maybe like a pre-recorded video from Ibrahim explaining what to expect on the call. Okay, so these different key things, as well as the different strategies that we would use or closers would use to make sure that people actually show up, right? So as for the sales call demo call, what closers would actually do, summarize in 5 different phases is that first phase is where we discover them, we build a connection. Second phase is that we identify the gap between where they are now, where they want to be. Third step is where the essentially the pitch comes in place, where we present the roadmap. 4 is where we objection handle them if there's any objection, and stage 5 is the close, right? If we close, beautiful. we start the onboarding process right away. Make sure that they have all of the access in terms of the course, the community, and everything. We enroll them in the program right away, right? If not, we send them into the long-term nurture, which is our Telegram group and our different YouTube channels, and also our newsletter, where we will send them value providing emails. If they did not close, we automatically default them to the long-term nurture. Okay, so there we have it, sales process and how to sort of make sure that the conversion rate from webinar to people enrolling in the program is sort of higher. Okay, cool. So now let's go into the fulfillment and retention, right? So after people have already joined the process, I know from the above, I can see, a little bit guru-y because I talk about all the sales. How can we make all the sales happening? Conversion. Now, this is the part where I actually like, as for a product person myself, right? Which is fulfillment and client retention, right? So once people close, you have to sort of, nail the onboarding process, because imagine this. What if you buy something for $10,000, but then after you place the payment, the cashier just walk away without doing anything? How would you feel, right? You're a rich guy, you are wealthy. You just place a $10,000 payment that normal people cannot even place. You place it, the cashier collect the cash, walked away. Nothing else happened. You would be pissed, right? What if the cashier, after putting that $10,000 payment, they maybe treat you as, they maybe give you a coffee to drink. They maybe give you like a wine that you would have. That is essentially like an onboarding process. What that onboarding process allows us to do is that it makes sure that, hey, once people join, they can immediately see a reward that they can get immediately after the payment. So this is what the onboarding process is about, right? As for the welcome sequence, we immediately give them access to the community. So after the salespeople or the closers close them on a call, we enroll them into the program. On the call itself, we want to give them immediate access to the community, like make sure they have the sort of all of the resources that they will need to have. They have it immediately after they pay the payment, right? Aside from immediate access from the community, it could be like a pre-recorded welcome video from Ibrahim himself, basically following somewhere around this script, right? So I'm just gonna read through it, okay? So, hey, congratulations. It is awesome that you have decided to move forward and invest in yourself. So let me describe how you probably feel, right? You probably feel a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious. You're probably asking yourself, was my investment worth it, right? Was it not worth it? Was it worth it? Did I actually do the right thing? Did I actually move in the right direction, right? So we want to continue by saying something like this. Listen, every major investment in a person's life comes at a tail end of doing something that was terrifying for them, right? So I want to congratulate you for choosing to do something that was actually scary. So, if you feel nervous, that should be absolutely fine. You should be okay, right? Me and our team will guide you to where you want to be, right? Send this pre-recorded onboarding message to, make your audience feel that, okay, it is safe for them. They have made the right direction, right? And then, first steps and onboarding call, laid out clearly, where essentially after someone closes, enroll in the program, pay essentially 4K, 5K plus, an onboarding call would happen with the students as well as Ibrahim. That one would be an onboarding call, 15 minutes to 30-minute onboarding call, where Ibrahim would get to know them, give them a personalized strategy, right? That would just be like the onboarding call, right? As well as how can we keep the retention strategy high, which increases LTV, by the way, is that, hey, in one-on-one onboarding call, with Ibrahim and the students to create a personalized roadmap for the student itself, right? Next would be introduction to the community, where we want to set the tone in place, right? Where we want to explain to them where, hey, our culture with this community is to celebrate your wins, no matter how small, right? No matter how big, no matter how small, a win is a win, and we respect every win that comes in, right? So introduction to the community, including introduction to the culture of the community, right? Maybe weekly group coaching calls, monthly, weekly check-ins on goals as well as progress, and one of the best strategies to increase lifetime value of customers within a certain paid community is to essentially gamify it. So maybe we could, create challenges, create prizes, and, allow competitions to take place to maintain the engagement so that people can compete with each other. We bring the competition, the feeling of, hey, I want to win. We bring them up and we make people compete for each other to get the prize point, right? So when people compete with each other, we push each other so that we can also see the results that people would also increase because of the competition and the desire to be better than essentially the competitor, right? So gamify it too. Okay. Boom. Finally, last step, aside from product fulfillment, retention increases lifetime value and increases the retention rate. How can we scale it up from $50,000, $50K, all the way up to those $100K plus, right? Essentially, this strategy allows it to do so, right? Which we implement the upsell and cross-sell opportunities, right? So I sort of laid out two different options, right? The first one is a VIP mastermind, which is around 10K for 6 months, or we can do a game changers quarterly mastermind, which is around like $5,000 per quarter. But listen, before we go into the price, how high is it, we're gonna talk about what the core deliverables are and who this one is for, right? So let's talk about the VIP mastermind first, right? In order to qualify to pay for this, the qualification threshold would be only available. This offer would only be available for students who have hit their first 6 figures or $250,000 in revenue with their clothing brand, right? Because what this mastermind allows us to do is we want to ensure the quality of people that join the mastermind is super high, because essentially there's a saying that eagles fly with eagles, winners hang out with winners. The top 1%, they sort of hang out with the top 1%, and we want to curate that same environment with this VIP mastermind, right? So they have to qualify for this in order to get the opportunity to join this VIP mastermind, right? Which would last for 6 months. So limited availability, maximum only 8 members for every 6 months, right? This one just puts out how much urgent it is and puts out like a scarcity. Only 8 people are able to join, right? As for the core deliverables, maybe monthly in-person mastermind sessions between Ibrahim, founding fathers of Trico, Moad, and maybe other guest experts that we could bring on, right? Second core deliverables would be direct supplier introductions and manufacturing contacts, right? How can they get in contact with the private manufacturer that we have, right? Private strategy session with Ibrahim, maybe once per month. Behind the scenes, they get to see the behind the scenes of Trico's current launches and the different strategy that they use, right? Maybe they can get to see behind the scenes, right? Access to maybe Moad's and Ibrahim's network, because we host a monthly mastermind, so that they can see the different experts that Moad and Ibrahim know, as well as potential joint venture opportunities, right? Where Ibrahim or Moad could see like, oh wow, this brand is pretty interesting. How about I get my team that is running Trico, we do a joint venture, I take some little equity in your brand and we scale it up to those 7-8 figures and potentially exit that brand, right? Maybe we could do that, right? Or the annual retreat that we could have with this mastermind, right? So annual retreat. Or the second strategy could be, maybe if we don't want a mastermind, we could maybe just have the quarterly mastermind, right? Where people get a chance to join. We can meet up in person every quarter, and with every quarter, we discuss different topics. For example, on March, we discuss how to go viral. On June, we discuss how to grow your different strategies to grow your wait list. And maybe on September, we discuss how to fulfill, maybe something like that, right? So the qualification threshold is that we only want to let people or students who have hit their first 5 figures or 6 figures in revenue with their clothing brand to be able to get the opportunity to pay for this quarterly mastermind, right? As for the limited availability, we only limit to 20 members per quarter, right? As for the core deliverables, could be 3 to 5 day in-person event with Ibrahim and guest experts, right? As well as we present the different networking opportunities, and people that join, they get to meet those different guest experts. They get to network and they get to ask different questions that they have, all right? So how do we deploy, when do we deploy the different strategies in place, right? Because we don't want to, like, once they join, we don't want to immediately sell them this high ticket offers. That is not what we want to do, right? So this is where the deployment timeline comes in. Okay, as for the introduction phase, we don't want to mention the upsells during the initial sales process. Once they join in, the first day after they join, we don't want to give them that. You'll be like, oh wow, I just joined this, I just paid 4 figures, close to 5 figures for that. Now they want to sell me another thing. Are they like a guru? So we want to prevent that, right? So we want to first introduce this concept at the 45-day mark, especially after our clients gets results, right? And we position that invite as an invitation only to create exclusivity, right? As for how we qualify people, we would send like a U form asking questions, basically asking, hey, their current monthly revenue figures, different specific goals that they have, challenges that they're currently facing, and the different investment that they are ready to put down, right? As well as, within the type form, we also require proof of results, which is screenshots of their dashboard of their sales, so that we can prove that, hey, they actually qualify because they have hit their first 5 figures, they have hit their first $250,000 from their clothing brand, so they are sort of allowed to join. Okay, aside from the qualification phase, after the introduction phase, we qualify them too. This is where we review the phase and allow people to join in later on, right? For the review phase, we leverage the U forms logic sequence where we segment people based on how much they have already earned. We segment them into either the VIP qualified segment or the mastermind qualified segment, right? So after we segment people out, we segment the applicants out based on the interest they have, how many revenue they generated. The sales team reach out to qualified waitlist applicants via SMS or via maybe like a call, right? Which would send them, those qualified people would be sent to this VSL page. So with this VSL would be the page would look something like this, right? The call out, who is it for, the main headline copy, the VSL video, and as well as maybe the book a call to speak with the team to join the mastermind or the VIP quarterly in-person mastermind, right? So for the VSL page would be a raw 15 to 20 minute video from Ibrahim explaining what makes this program exclusive, right? Including the detailed breakdown of what is included with this mastermind and clear next steps on what they should do to apply for this, which is to book in a strategy call with sort of the sales team, right? So the sales team have the conversation. If they enroll, boom, the welcome sequence, kicks in. All right. So there we have it. How I would sort of, structure Ibrahim's launch if I were actually him, right? So hopefully this was valuable. Now, after that, let's actually go into how would I actually optimize, CEO Ibrahim's funnel to scaling that consulting business to ideally 7 figures plus, right? So top of funnel would be the same for now, YouTube and Instagram. Also, one more stuff to be adding, which I will cover later. So let's start with YouTube first, right? For YouTube would be the weekly or bi-weekly or twice per week long form YouTube videos, or vlog style clothing brand strategies, or those case studies videos, right? As for Instagram would be the daily short form content, posting lifestyle, posting the results, posting the casual tips that Ibrahim can share, right? As for the description on the video, on the different reels, this is where we make a change, right? Hey, on the description, we can say that, hey, I share daily strategies on how I scaled my tricot, my clothing brand, to 7 figures within my free private group. So comment tricot to get access, right? So if people watch the reel, they comment tricot, it increases the engagement rate, and ManyChat automation sends them the invite to join the Telegram group, right? What we sort of change is that, okay, since we know that Ibrahim would post one long form YouTube video per week, we can essentially introduce like a concept of the whole clipping army or a whole team of editors where we repurpose shorts, clip up shorts from his vlog style content on the YouTube and repurpose them into Instagram reels, into TikTok videos, into short form videos as well, right? So essentially, if I were to work with Ibrahim, would love the opportunity, I would also manage his content team and manage the repurposed short form, like the clipping team, right? So yeah, well, but with that aside, that would be the top of funnel, right? How I would structure the top of funnel would be long form YouTube videos, Instagram shorts, as well as repurposing element from his main content to the different short form platforms like YouTube shorts, TikTok, and Instagram reels. As for middle funnel, it looks something like this. So I would have the Telegram group where we post daily value videos from Instagram, daily value posts from Ibrahim and Moad, right? The different quick lessons that you could voice it out, send a voicemail into the group, and just basically share quick value with them, right? The different student success, behind the scenes value content of running Trico, as well as the different belief shifting content, right? What this one more so is in terms of belief shifting content is more so like, okay, we send a message where, okay, you guys have to start today. There is no perfect moment. You have to start today. And when we send that message out, people within our audience who have the mindset of, okay, I have to wait for the perfect moment. I have to wait for the perfect moment. People like that who actually respects Ibrahim and Moad. When Moad or Ibrahim send out that certain message, that audience would automatically switch their belief to like from I need to wait for the perfect moment to the perfect moment doesn't exist. And once that audience have that specific belief, they would do what? They would immediately go to the next steps, which is maybe book a call or register for the next webinar that would be taking place, or the next launch of Ibrahim's mentorship group, right? Or something like that. Okay. Our next steps would be the Game Changers newsletter, right? Where it would mainly to be value providing and nurture our audience, giving free value away for free, right? So essentially, how can we put this two in place? It's pretty simple. From our YouTube video description and Instagram comments, let's say people comment Trico on Instagram, and we link the opt-in page on our YouTube video description. We would send them up to a opt-in page where it would look something like this. We call out who it's for. The main headline, we put a type form here, and from the type form, after we after they completed the questions, we send them to our Telegram group, and we send them to allow them to sign up for our newsletter, right? So that would be how we structure those strategy in place, right, for middle funnel. Now, as for bottom of funnel, you guys would find this one super interesting, right? So hang on tight, we're almost there, right? Cool. As for primary conversion path would be Telegram group and exclusive offers that only exist with people that are actually in his Telegram group, right? And people who actually have already joined this newsletter, we also give the different unique offers that is only available for his Instagram audience, right? So we would have like the monthly enrollment open windows where we would give a chance for people to join every single month. So every single month, only maybe 5 to 10 people are able to join Game Changers one-on-one mentorship, right? So within those time, we would share the recent student results the month before the previous batch of students that joined Game Changers mentorship, right? What this one allows us to do is that we want to build up hype and we get our audience prepared and ready for the opportunity once the enrollment opens, right? So once enrollment opens, we pin a message with the application link within the Telegram, as well as with their Game Changers newsletter. We also provide value and a call to action email with the application link within the email, persuading people to, hey, sign up, book a call for the next batch of students to join the Game Changer one-on-one mentorship, right? As for the sales sequence, would be pretty typical. The opt-in page which acts as the qualification page, as well as the VSL and booking page, which you would find pretty interesting. So for the sales sequence, we send them into the opt-in page where the qualification application looks something similar, something like this, right? So 5 to 7 key questions to assess the fit and the budget to see whether if they are qualified or not, right? As well as share their current revenue status with the clothing brand to see if they're qualified or not. We know their goals and timeline expectations from the question, and we know their investment availability or their budget, right? So once that we know that, we see that, okay, they have the budget, their goals actually make sense. They have their current revenue. Based on their current revenue, Ibrahim and Moad can actually help them go from those 5 figures to maybe 6 or 7 figures. Then If they qualify, we lead them to the qualification page, which is the VSL and book a call page. So for qualified applicants, on the VSL page, there would be the typical, let me just draw it out, right? There would be the typical who we call it out for, the headline, maybe the sub headline, the VSL video, and the calendar booking link, right? With different options to book a call to speak with essentially the sales team, right? So on the video, which is right here, this would be the VSL video. Let me just draw it out. This one would be the VSL video, would be a 15 to 20 minute video with Ibrahim explaining and pre-sell what the program is about, right? Also, pre-market, hey, why Trigger was able to stand out and why most clothing brand fails. We essentially want to provide value and to pre-sell people to join our mentorship, right? Testimonials and case studies are integrated throughout the whole process, right? And maybe also share, hey, within that VSL video would be a value providing email, which also pre-sells them as well. So for the value part, we can share how our game changer programs, which is our one-on-one mentorship, solves this issue that you guys have, right? What specific results to expect and the detailed program breakdown that is being shared on that 15 to 20 minute video VSL from Ibrahim, right? So beneath that, there would be a calendar integration, which is right here. Calendar integrated with the booking page, allowing for the audience to book a call, as well as the pre-call reminder email sequences after people have actually booked a call. This one serves to increase the show rate so that people get reminded and they actually show up to the call with the sales team, right? So pre-call, after they booked in a call, before the actual demo call or the sales calls actually take place, different free value videos to pre-handle potential objections that might come up on the sales call would be sent from the closer to them, right? Leveraging different value videos that Ibrahim have published on his YouTube, right? Share those free videos in case the audience that actually booked in the call haven't actually watched that certain video, which Ibrahim's provides certain free value. The closer can send those certain videos to people that actually booked the call, right? As well as the different student interviews that have already taken place from previous batch of students. Okay, so in terms of how we increase the show rate, the flow looks something like this. Okay, after they booked in the call, the closer would immediately call them and immediately start the discovery process, right? Where we would ask their pain points, we would know their goals, we ask about their pain points, ask about their goals, and essentially also remind them of the call that is happening on the day that they have just booked earlier, right? So that we can ensure that, hey, the audience actually show up and have a chat with the closer, which the closer would, enroll them into the program, right? So nice. That would be the primary conversion path, right? Or the second conversion path would be maybe instead of having to design all of those different messages in place, what if we just put a monthly webinar funnel where every single month we host a free webinar? So on the webinar, 75% of it would be genuine value providing, right? 75% of the webinar. As for the 25% of the webinar, we present the month's game changer offer in the final 25% of the webinar, which we would include the different limited bonus for webinar attendees and people that buy immediately on the webinar. And for people that did not buy on the webinar and want to speak with the sales team, we can redirect them to the same application process where they would go directly to the VSL page or the qualification page, right? So boom, there we have it, an hour and a half based on the current funnel of Ibrahim, how I would how I would scale or launch, or what I would do if I were to work under Ibrahim, the strategies that I would use, and the optimized funnel of Ibrahim. So hope this video was valuable, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.